Invincible is one of the best modern TV shows of recent times. In the times we live in, we usually see superhero shows take a more friendlier toll and kid-friendly toll around these things, but now we're actually seeing a lot more adult-friendly things coming in the future, such as Invincible in the last couple of years. The only really things that have came close to superhero things that are actually really dark and gritty are the Batman animated movies, which I consider as to be one of the best DC animation of recent history and also of recent memory. However, Invincible definitely seems to kick it up a notch by introducing a whole new audience to the whole adult animation franchise and kind of genre, which I think they're actually doing surprisingly well with now they're on the second season and actually ending that finale out with a big bang. With the success of Invincible, obviously there comes a lot of other merchandise and memorabilia, but also video games, such as a rumour that we are going to be getting a brand new video game based on this game, and also it's going to be AAA. And the future developers really seem like they want to take down the whole dark tone and the pathway of the show and making it as dark as possible, which I think is the best choice for these types of games, especially of how dark and brutal and also how bloody Invincible is as a series. And if we didn't see at least an R rating, aka a PEGI 18 rating on this game, I'd be more than disappointed, because that would just defeat the purpose of how action packed this game and also how gruesome it could be if they just didn't go for the 18 plus rating. So honestly, I'm begging for the 18 plus rating, and if they do, that's a big W. And with Skybound apparently directing this game, I can see this being one of the best superhero games next to the Batman Arkham series, and also the Spider-Man games could give it a run for its money as well. However, obviously Skybound's been responsible for creating the Walking Dead series. They've done a little bit more of the Other Things projects, and some of their other projects have been exceptionally really good. So I'm expecting a whole lot from this company and what they can do with this character. We've never really had a properly cel-shaded character design and open world such as in Ultimate Spider-Man since then, but I think this could be the perfect idea to add this whole cel-shading aspect and design into this game and its open world if it actually does one, because honestly, pray to the lords that this game does have an open world, because what would it be Invincible without the iconic city to explore in? Perhaps even have this game set in between Seasons 1 and Season 2 to show how Omni-Man got affected by Mark Grayson and what he did to the whole entire city by killing every single fucking human being in existence. I think that would probably be the best story arcs we've ever seen throughout there, and also his destination to the other planet. Then we get introduced to Mark and obviously all of his buddies like Adam, Eve, etc. as they go out helping out the city and encountering other bad guys that we have not even seen in the show yet. I believe that would be a great story, and it would definitely tie up some loose ends between Season 1 and Season 2 and just fill the piggy in the middle. Now, with every great story open world game does come a lot of side missions, and I think they could actually add a lot of different side missions into this game, such as helping the civilians, killing more bosses, doing extra stuff for the community, and obviously trying to save more city and making the city a little bit of a better place. Sort of like how we saw with Spider-Man and how he helped out all the civilians of New York City and how he wanted to just clean up all the streets in each district. I think this would work incredibly well for an Invincible game. Another aspect to either win or lose is that this game could have some really good combat or some really bad combat. It just really depends how well they can do it and actually copy the Arkham games and Spider-Man games, but also just give it a little bit more of a taste. Don't just give us a little bit more of the Arkham games and a little bit more of the Spider-Man combat. It doesn't really make sense that way. Instead, just try and make it up as you go along and try to fix out a unique fighting style for this game, because not every single one is going to be perfect, and obviously you kind of want your own uniqueness to your game. So I wouldn't say just copying Spider-Man or Batman would actually get you anywhere with this combat. I think combat is its own thing, and you really need to master it in a good way in order to have a good combat system within the video game itself. And if they do get the combat right, hallelujah, you've got an amazing video game that everyone's going to enjoy and they're going to find really big satisfaction with, as well as a great story, making this probably one of the best superhero games of all time. Oh shit, never mind, there's Spider-Man 2, I forgot. I think one thing this game will definitely need to master besides the combat is the flight. Invincible is obviously very well known for initiating flight during combat, and also this would also play into the open world aspect of flying around and doing missions as such. So I believe they have to get this down to a T if we actually want to stick around and play this game eventually when it does come out and launch at release. Because if this doesn't actually come out at whatsoever how we planned and we're just swishing around like Superman everywhere, I mean, that'd just be the worst kind of thing we'd ever see in a game. And also, if we didn't even see the flight version, how the hell are we going to see what it's going to be like while walking or running in this game? Like, that would just be an absolute pain in the ass. And I hope to God they don't even use inverted controls, because inverted controls can... One thing it really suffers with superhero games nowadays, especially with the most recent games like Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, and also Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, let's just not talk about that, is the very, very bland video game covers that we get for these games. Now hear me out, some of these games are absolutely phenomenal. You could be in the best place in the goddamn world. You could be in New York City swinging around, you could be in a jungle trying to hunt down some mad hunters, you could be in the best Call of Duty ever made, but yet the game cover looks like absolute ass. So dear Skybound, just please give us a good Invincible cover. I mean, you made the artwork look as good as new in the Prime Video series. I mean, at least just give the best video game cover known to man and just make this actually want us to play this game instead of just giving us some bland cover with red in the background. But overall, I am genuinely confident that Skybound can give us a very solid video game, especially if they can do really well with The Walking Dead and all of the other projects that they've done that are highly successful. I see no other different than Invincible being an absolute winning success. A lot of great passionate people are behind these kind of games and the projects. A good example of this is of course Insomniac Spider-Man and of course Rocksteady with the Batman Arkham series. They put so much time and effort into creating those characters and who we actually love as them as a character to make them even better in video game form, and some even say that that is the best interpretation of that said character. So if we even get that for Invincible, it's obviously cake. If they do have the good source material there and a good script and also a great open world segment in this game, I can see this being one of the best superhero games to have ever lived, especially alongside Arkham Asylum and getting that perfect 99% on Metacritic. That might be a little bit too high, but I'd say maybe an 87 or 89, just saying. So, bringing back to my question and the topic of this video, is the Invincible game actually going to be worth it when it comes out? And I would say, absolutely. When people make these games, there obviously does have to be some kind of passion involved in order to make them really great, as I mentioned before, and if they actually do that exceptionally well, you will get a great game. It's just really common sense at this point. And dear Skybound, please, please, please do not fuck this up.